Picture this. You're sitting at your desk, staring at a mountain of deadlines. Your phone won't stop buzzing. Your inbox is overflowing. And your boss just dropped another urgent task on your plate. Sound familiar? We've all been there, moments where the pressure feels like it's closing in and staying calm seems impossible. But what if I told you there's a way to not just survive these moments, but thrive in them? Enter Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that's been helping people stay calm under pressure for over 2,000 years. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything's fine. It's about practical tools and mindset shifts that help you navigate life's chaos with clarity and calm. And let's be real, modern life is chaos. From work stress to personal challenges, we're constantly being tested. That's why mastering these Stoic tips isn't just helpful, it's essential. In this video, we're diving into 30 Stoic tips that will help you stay calm, focused, and in control, no matter what life throws your way. Think of it as your personal toolkit for handling pressure like a pro. And don't worry, this isn't going to be a dry philosophy lecture. We're keeping it fun, engaging, and slightly informal because, let's face it, life's too short to be boring. So whether you're dealing with a tough day at work, a challenging relationship, or just the everyday stresses of life, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll have 30 powerful strategies to help you stay calm under pressure and maybe even laugh a little along the way. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. Now, let's jump into our first Stoic tip, and it's a game changer. Focus on what you can control. This idea comes from the Stoic principle called the dichotomy of control, which basically means separating what's in your power from what's not. Think about it. How much time and energy do we waste trying to control things that are completely out of our hands? The weather, traffic, other people's opinions, none of these are within your control. But here's the good news: your reactions, your decisions, and your mindset, those are all yours to manage. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine you're at work and a colleague criticizes your project. Your first instinct might be to get defensive or try to change their opinion. But here's the Stoic approach. Instead of stressing over what they think, focus on what you can control, your response. You can choose to stay calm, take their feedback constructively, and use it to improve your work. By shifting your focus to what's within your power, you instantly reduce the stress and regain control of the situation. Another example, let's say you're stuck in traffic. You can't control the cars around you or the red lights, but you can control how you react. Instead of letting frustration take over, use that time to listen to a podcast, take a few deep breaths, or even practice gratitude for the extra moments to yourself. The beauty of this principle is that it's not just about reducing stress, it's about reclaiming your power. When you stop worrying about what you can't control and start focusing on what you can, you'll find yourself feeling calmer, more confident, and ready to handle whatever comes your way. And that's just the beginning. Up next, we'll explore how imagining the worst-case scenario can actually help you stay calm. Sounds counterintuitive, right? Stick around to find out why it works. Now, let's move into our second Stoic tip, and it might surprise you. Practice negative visualization. At first glance, imagining worst-case scenarios might sound like a recipe for anxiety, but for Stoics, it's actually a powerful tool for staying calm and grounded. The idea is simple. By mentally preparing for the worst, you not only build resilience but also gain a deeper appreciation for what you already have. Take the Stoic philosopher Seneca, for example. He was known to regularly practice this technique, even in the face of immense challenges. One story tells of a time when Seneca was exiled to Corsica, a remote and harsh environment. Instead of letting despair take over, he used negative visualization to prepare himself for the possibility of never returning to Rome. By imagining the worst, living out his days in exile, he was able to accept his situation and find peace in the present moment. This mental exercise didn't just help him endure, it allowed him to thrive, writing some of his most profound works during that time. So how can you apply this in your own life? Let's say you're worried about losing your job. Instead of letting fear consume you, take a moment to imagine what life would look like if it actually happened. What steps would you take? How would you adapt? By walking through the scenario in your mind, you'll likely realize that you're more capable of handling it than you thought. And here's the bonus: when you return to the present, you'll feel a renewed sense of gratitude for the stability you currently have. Negative visualization isn't about dwelling on the negative, it's about preparing yourself mentally and emotionally for life's uncertainties. It's a way to build inner strength and appreciate the good things in your life, even when challenges arise. And speaking of challenges, our next tip will show you how to embrace the present moment, because sometimes staying calm is as simple as focusing on the here and now. Stay tuned. Now, let's shift our focus to the present moment, because staying calm often starts with where your attention is right now. Tip 3 is all about embracing the present, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that much of our stress and anxiety comes from dwelling on the future or regretting the past. But when you anchor yourself in the here and now, you reclaim your peace of mind. Think about a typical workday. You're juggling deadlines, meetings, and a mountain of emails. It's easy to get overwhelmed, especially when your mind starts racing about what might go wrong tomorrow or next week. But here's the thing: the future is uncertain, and worrying about it won't change that. What you can control is how you handle the present moment. For example, let's say you're in the middle of a stressful project. Instead of letting your thoughts spiral about what could go wrong or how much more you have to do, take a deep breath and focus on the task right in front of you. Break it down into smaller, manageable steps. By concentrating on what you're doing right now, you not only reduce anxiety but also improve your efficiency and clarity. The Stoics called this practice prosach, or mindfulness. It's about being fully engaged in the present, whether you're working, talking to a friend, or even just enjoying a quiet moment. When you train yourself to live this way, you'll find that the weight of future worries starts to lift. And here's a bonus: embracing the present also helps you appreciate the little things. That first sip of coffee in the morning, the sound of birds outside your window, or even the satisfaction of crossing something off your to-do list, these moments are easy to overlook when your mind is elsewhere. But when you're fully present, you notice them and they become small sources of joy. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself to come back to the present. Focus on what's in front of you and let go of the rest, because staying calm isn't about controlling the future, it's about mastering the moment you're in. And speaking of mastering moments, our next tip will show you how to accept what you can't change, because sometimes peace comes from letting go. Stay with us. Now let's turn our attention to something that might feel counterintuitive at first but is incredibly powerful: accepting what you cannot change. This is tip number 4, and it's rooted in the Stoic concept of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. At its core, this idea is about embracing everything that happens to you, good or bad, as part of your journey. It's not about resigning yourself to defeat. It's about finding peace in the face of circumstances you can't control. Take Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor. His life was filled with challenges that were far beyond his control: wars, political intrigue, and even personal loss. Yet he didn't waste energy fighting against what he couldn't change. Instead, he practiced amor fati, accepting his circumstances and focusing on how he could respond with wisdom and virtue. In his writings, he often reminded himself that obstacles were opportunities to practice patience, resilience, and self-discipline. Here's how you can apply this in your own life. Let's say you're stuck in traffic. You can't magically clear the road ahead, but you can decide how you react. Do you let frustration take over, or do you use that time to listen to a podcast, reflect on your day, or simply enjoy a moment of stillness? By accepting the situation, you shift your focus from what's outside your control to what's within it, your mindset and your actions. The beauty of Amor Fati is that it teaches us to see even the toughest situations as part of a larger, meaningful story. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that life is a mix of highs and lows, and both are necessary for growth. When you stop resisting what you can't change, you free up mental and emotional energy to focus on what truly matters, how you choose to respond. So the next time you're faced with something you can't control, try this Stoic approach. Instead of fighting against it, ask yourself, how can I accept this? What can I learn from it, and how can I move forward with grace? Because sometimes the key to staying calm isn't about changing the world around you, it's about changing how you see it. And speaking of perspective, our next tip will show you how to turn challenges into opportunities. Stay tuned. Now, let's shift gears and explore how Stoics transform challenges into stepping stones for growth. This is tip number 5, and it's all about reframing obstacles as opportunities. The Stoics believe that every difficulty you face is a chance to practice virtue, build resilience, and grow stronger. Instead of seeing problems as setbacks, they saw them as invitations to rise to the occasion. Think about a tough project at work. Maybe it's overwhelming, or you're dealing with tight deadlines and unexpected hurdles. At first glance, it might feel like a burden, but what if you saw it differently? What if you viewed it as a chance to sharpen your skills, test your creativity, and prove to yourself just how capable you are? That's the Stoic mindset in action. Take the example of a software developer facing a complex coding problem. Instead of getting frustrated, they could see it as an opportunity to learn a new programming language or improve their problem-solving skills. By reframing the challenge, they not only make progress on the project but also grow as a professional. The Stoics would argue that obstacles aren't roadblocks, they're teachers. They force us to think differently, adapt, and discover strengths we didn't know we had. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very thing that seems to block your path can become the path itself if you approach it with the right mindset. So, how can you apply this in your own life? Start by asking yourself 2 questions when you face a challenge. What can I learn from this, and how can this make me better? Maybe it's a difficult conversation with a friend. Instead of avoiding it, see it as a chance to improve your communication skills. Or perhaps it's a financial setback. Use it as motivation to build better budgeting habits. The key is to shift your perspective. When you stop seeing obstacles as enemies and start seeing them as allies, you unlock a powerful way to stay calm under pressure. And speaking of perspective, our next tip will show you how gratitude can be a game changer in maintaining your peace of mind. Stay with us. Now, let's turn our attention to something that might seem simple but has profound power: gratitude. This is tip number 6, and it's all about practicing gratitude daily. The Stoics believe that no matter how challenging life gets, there's always something to be thankful for. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise, it's a tool for shifting your mindset and finding peace, even in the midst of chaos. Think about it. When you're under pressure, it's easy to focus on what's going wrong. But what if you took a moment to reflect on what's going right? Maybe it's the support of a friend, the comfort of a warm meal, or even the fact that you have the strength to face the day. Gratitude helps you see the good that's already present in your life, and that perspective can be a game changer when stress starts to build. So, how can you make gratitude a daily habit? One practical way is to keep a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Sometimes it's the small things, like a kind word from a coworker or a moment of quiet in a busy day. Over time, this practice trains your mind to look for the positive, even when things feel overwhelming. Another way to incorporate gratitude is through reflection. Take a few minutes each morning to mentally list what you're thankful for. It could be as simple as appreciating the sunrise or the opportunity to pursue your goals. This sets a positive tone for the day and reminds you of what truly matters. The Stoics also practiced gratitude by imagining life without the things they often took for granted. For example, they would reflect on how much harder life would be without their health, their relationships, or even their basic needs being met. This exercise, known as negative visualization, not only fosters gratitude but also helps you appreciate what you have while you have it. Gratitude isn't about ignoring your problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about balancing your perspective. When you acknowledge the good alongside the challenges, you create a sense of calm and resilience that helps you navigate pressure with grace. And speaking of resilience, our next tip will dive into how to build emotional strength so you can handle whatever life throws your way. Stay tuned. Now, let's shift our focus to something that can truly transform how you handle pressure: emotional resilience. This is tip number 7, and it's all about building the inner strength to stay calm and composed, no matter what life throws at you. The Stoics understood that resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate through practice and reflection. Emotional resilience is like a muscle. The more you work on it, the stronger it gets. It's about developing the ability to bounce back from setbacks, stay grounded during chaos, and maintain your peace of mind even when things don't go as planned. The Stoics believed that true strength comes from within, and by training your mind, you can face challenges with confidence and clarity. So, how do you start building this resilience? One powerful tool is journaling. Take a few minutes each day to write about your experiences, especially the tough ones. Reflect on how you handled a difficult situation, what you learned from it, and how you can apply those lessons in the future. This practice not only helps you process your emotions, but also reinforces your ability to navigate challenges with a calm and steady mindset. Another way to build resilience is by reflecting on past challenges you've already overcome. Think about a time when you faced a tough situation and came out stronger on the other side. What did you learn about yourself? How did that experience shape your ability to handle pressure? By reminding yourself of your past victories, you reinforce the belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of perspective. When you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back and ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? Often, the things that feel like huge obstacles in the moment are just small bumps in the grand scheme of things. By zooming out and focusing on the bigger picture, you can reduce the emotional weight of the situation and respond with greater clarity. Finally, practice self-compassion. Building resilience doesn't mean you have to be tough on yourself all the time. It's about recognizing that setbacks are a natural part of life and treating yourself with kindness as you work through them. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger and more resilient. As you continue to develop this inner strength, you'll find that pressure becomes easier to manage, and you'll approach challenges with a sense of calm and confidence. And speaking of confidence, our next tip will explore how to avoid overreacting to small things, so you can save your energy for what truly matters. Stay tuned. Now, let's talk about something we've all experienced, those little annoyances that somehow feel like the end of the world in the moment. This is tip number 8, and it's all about avoiding overreactions to small things. The Stoics were masters at keeping their cool, even when life threw minor inconveniences their way. They understood that losing your calm over trivial matters only drains your energy and distracts you from what truly matters. Picture this: you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. The cars aren't moving, your stress levels are rising, and you can feel your patience slipping away. It's easy to let frustration take over, honking the horn or muttering under your breath. But here's the thing: will this traffic jam matter in a week? Probably not. The Stoics would remind you that getting worked up over something you can't control, like traffic, only adds unnecessary stress to your day. Instead, they'd encourage you to take a deep breath, accept the situation, and use the time to reflect or even enjoy a moment of stillness. The key here is perspective. When you're faced with a minor annoyance, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Often the answer is no. By choosing not to overreact, you preserve your mental clarity and emotional balance for the things that truly deserve your attention. This practice isn't just about traffic, of course. It applies to all those small, everyday frustrations like spilling coffee on your shirt, dealing with a slow internet connection, or hearing a coworker chew loudly. The Stoics believed that maintaining perspective helps you stay grounded and prevents minor issues from derailing your peace of mind. So, the next time you find yourself tempted to overreact, pause for a moment. Remind yourself that this too shall pass. By practicing this Stoic approach, you'll find that life's little irritations become easier to handle, leaving you with more energy and focus for the things that truly matter. And speaking of focus, our next tip will dive into the importance of cultivating self-discipline, so you can stay calm and in control even when distractions abound. Stay with us now. Let's shift our focus to something that can truly transform how you handle pressure: self-discipline. This is tip number 9, and it's all about cultivating self-control as a way to stay calm and composed, no matter what life throws your way. The Stoics believed that self-discipline wasn't just about resisting temptation. It was about mastering your impulses so you could respond to challenges with clarity and purpose. Think about it. How often do distractions pull you away from what really matters? Maybe it's the constant ping of notifications on your phone, or the urge to procrastinate when you're faced with a tough task. The Stoics would tell you that self-discipline is the antidote to these distractions. By setting clear boundaries like turning off your phone during work hours or limiting time on social media, you create space to focus on what's truly important. But self-discipline goes beyond just managing distractions. It's also about practicing delayed gratification. Imagine you're tempted to skip your morning workout because hitting the snooze button feels so much easier. The Stoic approach would be to remind yourself of the long-term benefits, how that workout will boost your energy, improve your mood, and help you stay calm under pressure. By choosing to delay that instant comfort, you're building mental resilience and strengthening your ability to handle stress. Here's a practical tip: start small. Maybe it's committing to just 10 minutes of focused work without checking your phone, or resisting the urge to snack late at night. Over time, these small acts of self-control add up, helping you develop the discipline needed to stay calm in more challenging situations. The Stoics also saw self-discipline as a way to align your actions with your values. When you're disciplined, you're less likely to be swayed by external pressures or fleeting emotions. Instead, you act with intention, staying true to what matters most to you. This sense of alignment brings a deep sense of calm, even in the face of chaos. So, as you go about your day, ask yourself, where can I practice a little more self-discipline? Whether it's setting boundaries with distractions or embracing delayed gratification, each small step you take strengthens your ability to stay calm and in control. And speaking of control, our next tip will explore how reflecting on your day can help you stay grounded and focused. Stick around, you won't want to miss it. Now, let's take a moment to explore a practice that might sound a bit intense at first, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful: reflecting on your mortality. This is tip number 10, and it's rooted in the Stoic concept of memento mori, which translates to remember that you must die. Now, before you think this is morbid, hear me out. The Stoics didn't use this idea to dwell on death, but rather to remind themselves of life's impermanence and to focus on what truly matters. Think about it. When you're caught up in the chaos of daily life, it's easy to get stressed over things that, in the grand scheme, don't really matter. Maybe it's a rude comment from a coworker, a missed deadline, or even a bad hair day. But when you pause and reflect on the fact that your time here is limited, those small worries start to lose their grip. Suddenly, you're able to see the bigger picture and prioritize what's truly important: your relationships, your values, and the legacy you want to leave behind. The Stoics believed that remembering our mortality helps us live more intentionally. It's not about fear or sadness, but about clarity. When you're aware that your time is finite, you're less likely to waste it on things that don't align with your purpose. For example, instead of stressing over a minor mistake at work, you might focus on how you can grow from it and contribute more meaningfully. Here's a practical way to incorporate this practice into your life. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on your mortality. It doesn't have to be a heavy or somber exercise, just a quiet moment to remind yourself of life's fleeting nature. You might ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I spent it? This simple question can help you let go of trivial concerns and focus on what truly brings you peace and fulfillment. By embracing memento mori, you're not just reducing anxiety, you're also cultivating a deeper sense of gratitude for the present moment. When you realize how precious your time is, you're more likely to savor the little things, like a meaningful conversation with a friend or the beauty of a sunset. So, as you move through your day, try to keep this Stoic practice in mind. Let it guide you to live with intention, focus on what matters most, and let go of the small stuff. And speaking of letting go, our next tip will dive into how mindful breathing can help you stay calm under pressure. Stay tuned, it's a game changer. Now, let's shift our focus to something you can do right here, right now: mindful breathing. This is tip number 11, and it's all about using your breath as a tool to stay calm under pressure. The Stoics understood that the way we breathe has a direct impact on our emotions and mental state. When you're stressed, your breath tends to become shallow and rapid, which only amplifies feelings of anxiety. But by taking control of your breathing, you can regain a sense of calm and clarity, even in the most challenging moments. Here's a simple breathing exercise you can try. First, find a quiet place where you can sit or stand comfortably. Close your eyes if it helps you focus. Now take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, counting to 4 as you inhale. Hold that breath for a count of 4, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for another count of 4. Repeat this cycle 3 to 5 times, or until you feel your body and mind begin to relax. This technique, often called box breathing, is a favorite among Stoics because it's both practical and effective. It works by activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps counteract the fight or flight response that kicks in when you're under stress. By focusing on your breath, you're also grounding yourself in the present moment, which is a core Stoic principle. Think about it. When you're overwhelmed, your mind tends to race ahead, worrying about what might happen next. But when you bring your attention back to your breath, you're reminding yourself that this moment, right here, is all you truly have control over. It's a powerful way to interrupt the cycle of stress and regain your composure. The beauty of mindful breathing is that you can do it anywhere, anytime. Whether you're stuck in traffic, preparing for a big presentation, or dealing with a difficult conversation, this practice can help you stay centered and calm. It's like having a portable stress relief tool that's always with you. So the next time you feel pressure building up, take a moment to pause and breathe. Let your breath be your anchor, pulling you back to the present and helping you navigate whatever comes your way. And speaking of navigating challenges, our next tip will explore how letting go of external validation can free you from unnecessary stress. Stay with us, this one's a mindset shift you won't want to miss. Now, let's turn our attention to something that can truly transform how you handle pressure: letting go of external validation. This is tip number 12, and it's all about shifting your focus from what others think of you to what you think of yourself. The Stoics believed that seeking approval from others is a recipe for stress and dissatisfaction. Why? Because you can't control how others perceive you, but you can control how you perceive yourself. Take the example of Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers. Born into slavery, Epictetus faced constant criticism and hardship throughout his life. Yet he remained unshaken by the opinions of others. He taught that our worth isn't determined by external praise or blame, but by our own actions and character. When someone insulted him, he famously responded, "If someone told me that so and so was speaking ill of me, I would not defend myself. I would simply say, he doesn't know my other faults, or he wouldn't have mentioned only these." This mindset is incredibly freeing. When you stop worrying about what others think, you remove a huge source of pressure from your life. Instead of chasing validation, you can focus on living with integrity and staying true to your values. Think about it. How much time and energy do we waste trying to impress others or fearing their judgment? The Stoics would argue that this energy is better spent on things within your control, like improving yourself and contributing to the world around you. Letting go of external validation doesn't mean you stop caring about others or become indifferent. It simply means you stop letting their opinions dictate your self-worth. When you internalize this idea, you'll find that criticism loses its sting. Instead of reacting defensively, you can respond with calm and clarity, knowing that your value comes from within. So, the next time you feel the urge to seek approval or fear judgment, remind yourself of Epictetus' wisdom. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values? Am I doing my best? If the answer is yes, then that's all that matters. And speaking of values, our next tip will explore how simplifying your life can help you stay calm and focused. Trust me, this one's a game changer, so don't go anywhere. Now, let's shift gears and talk about something that can make a world of difference in how you handle pressure, simplifying your life. This is tip number 13, and it's all about embracing minimalism to reduce unnecessary stress. The Stoics believed that a cluttered life leads to a cluttered mind. When you're surrounded by distractions and obligations, it's hard to stay calm and focused. But when you simplify, you create space for clarity and peace. Think about your workspace for a moment. Is it filled with papers, gadgets, and things you don't really need? A messy environment can make even simple tasks feel overwhelming. The Stoics would advise you to declutter not just your physical space, but your mental and emotional space too. Start small. Clear off your desk, organize your files, and get rid of anything that doesn't serve a purpose. You'll be amazed at how much lighter and more focused you feel. Another way to simplify is by learning to say no. In today's world, it's easy to overcommit, whether it's taking on extra projects at work, agreeing to social events you don't really want to attend, or trying to keep up with endless demands. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you're adding unnecessary stress to your life. The Stoics would remind you that it's okay to set boundaries. Saying no isn't selfish, it's a way of protecting your time and energy so you can focus on what truly matters. Simplifying your life also means letting go of things that don't add value. This could be material possessions, toxic relationships, or even habits that drain your energy. The Stoics taught that true wealth isn't about having more, it's about needing less. When you strip away the excess, you're left with what's essential, and that's where you'll find calm and contentment. So, take a moment to reflect. What can you let go of today? Maybe it's that pile of clothes you never wear, or the habit of checking your phone every 5 minutes. Start small, and you'll soon see how simplifying your life can help you stay calm under pressure. And speaking of staying calm, our next tip will dive into why complaining only makes things worse, and what you can do instead. Trust me, this one's going to change how you approach challenges, so stick around. Now let's move on to tip number 14, and it's a powerful one: avoid complaining. The Stoics had a clear stance on this. Complaining doesn't solve problems, it only drains your energy and amplifies stress. When you complain, you're essentially focusing on what's wrong without taking any meaningful action to fix it. It's like spinning your wheels in the mud. You're expending effort, but you're not going anywhere. Instead of venting about a situation, the Stoics would encourage you to shift your focus to what you can do about it. For example, let's say you're stuck in a long line at the grocery store. You could spend that time grumbling about how slow the cashier is, or you could use it as an opportunity to practice patience or even reflect on something positive. The key is to reframe the situation. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I make the best of this moment? Another alternative to complaining is focusing on solutions. If something is bothering you, take a step back and think about what actions you can take to improve the situation. Maybe it's having a calm conversation with a coworker who's been difficult, or perhaps it's setting boundaries with someone who's been draining your energy. The Stoics believed that every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue, whether it's patience, courage, or wisdom. Complaining also has a way of magnifying problems. When you constantly talk about what's wrong, you're reinforcing those negative thoughts in your mind. It's like pouring fuel on a fire. It only makes the flames grow bigger. But when you choose to focus on solutions or reframe the situation, you're taking control of your mindset. You're saying, I won't let this bother me more than it has to. So the next time you feel the urge to complain, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this helping me or making things worse? Then try one of the Stoic alternatives. Focus on solutions, reframe the situation, or simply let it go. You'll find that this small shift in perspective can make a big difference in how you handle pressure. And speaking of perspective, our next tip will show you how intentionally facing discomfort can actually make you stronger. It might sound counterintuitive, but trust me, this is a game changer. Stay tuned. Now, let's dive into tip number 15, and it's one that might surprise you. Practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that intentionally putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is a powerful way to build resilience and mental toughness. It might sound strange at first. Why would anyone choose to be uncomfortable? But the idea is simple. By willingly facing small challenges, you prepare yourself to handle bigger ones with ease. Think of it like training for a marathon. You don't start by running 26 miles on day one. You build up your endurance over time, pushing yourself a little more each day. In the same way, practicing voluntary discomfort strengthens your ability to stay calm under pressure. It's about teaching your mind that discomfort isn't something to fear or avoid. It's just another part of life that you can manage. One classic example is taking cold showers. It's not exactly pleasant, but it's a small, controlled way to practice discomfort. When you step into that cold water, your first instinct might be to jump right back out. But if you stay, you're training your mind to stay calm and focused, even when your body is screaming for relief. Over time, this builds a kind of mental muscle that helps you handle stress and adversity with greater ease. Another example is fasting. Skipping a meal or two might feel uncomfortable, but it's a way to practice self-discipline and remind yourself that you don't need to give in to every craving or impulse. The Stoics saw this as a way to strengthen your willpower and reduce your dependence on external comforts. Even something as simple as waking up earlier than usual or taking the stairs instead of the elevator can be a form of voluntary discomfort. These small acts might seem insignificant, but they add up. They teach you that you're capable of more than you think, and they help you develop a mindset that's ready to face challenges head-on. The key here is intentionality. You're not seeking discomfort for its own sake. You're doing it to grow. Every time you choose to face a small challenge, you're building resilience and proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws your way. So, the next time you're tempted to take the easy route, consider embracing a little discomfort instead. Whether it's a cold shower, a skipped meal, or just pushing yourself to do something you've been avoiding, remember that these small acts of courage can have a big impact on your ability to stay calm under pressure. And speaking of pressure, our next tip will show you how focusing on virtue rather than outcomes can help you navigate life's challenges with grace. Stay tuned, this one's a game changer. Now, let's shift our focus to tip number 16, and it's a mindset that can truly transform how you approach challenges. Focus on virtue, not outcomes. The Stoics believed that the true measure of success isn't in the results you achieve, but in the integrity and effort you bring to the process. It's about doing the right thing, even when the outcome is uncertain or beyond your control. Think about a job interview. It's natural to feel nervous, especially when so much seems to be at stake. But instead of obsessing over whether you'll get the job, the Stoic approach is to focus on what you can control: your preparation, your attitude, and your ability to present yourself authentically. By shifting your attention to doing your best rather than fixating on the outcome, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and perform with greater confidence. This principle applies to so many areas of life. Let's say you're working on a big project at work. Instead of worrying about whether your boss will approve of it or if it will be a success, focus on the effort you're putting in. Are you being thorough? Are you staying true to your values? Are you giving it your all? These are the things that matter most because they're within your control. The outcome, whether it's praise or criticism, is ultimately out of your hands. The Stoics called this virtue ethics, and it's all about aligning your actions with what's good, honest, and honorable. When you prioritize virtue over outcomes, you're less likely to be thrown off course by setbacks or failures. Instead, you'll find a deeper sense of fulfillment in knowing that you acted with integrity, no matter what happens. Here's another example. Imagine you're playing a sport. It's easy to get caught up in the score or whether you win or lose. But the Stoic approach would be to focus on playing with sportsmanship, giving your best effort and respecting your opponents. When you shift your mindset this way, the pressure to win fades, and you're able to enjoy the game for what it is: a chance to grow, connect, and challenge yourself. The beauty of this tip is that it helps you stay calm under pressure by redirecting your energy toward what truly matters. Outcomes are often unpredictable, but your character and effort are always within your control. By focusing on virtue, you build a foundation of inner strength that can withstand any storm. And speaking of strength, our next tip will explore how limiting your exposure to drama can help you maintain your calm and focus. Stay with us. This one's all about creating a peaceful environment for your mind to thrive. Now, let's turn our attention to tip number 17, and it's a game changer for maintaining your calm. Limit your exposure to drama. The Stoics understood that unnecessary conflicts and distractions drain your energy and pull you away from what truly matters. By creating a peaceful environment for your mind, you can focus on what's within your control and avoid getting caught up in chaos. One of the simplest ways to do this is by setting boundaries with toxic people. We all know someone who thrives on drama, whether it's a coworker who loves to gossip or a friend who constantly complains. While it's not always possible to cut these people out of your life entirely, you can limit your interactions with them. Politely but firmly set boundaries, and don't feel obligated to engage in conversations that leave you feeling drained or stressed. Remember, your peace of mind is worth protecting. Another area where drama often creeps in is social media. Scrolling through endless feeds can expose you to negativity, arguments, and comparisons that only add to your stress. The Stoic approach here is to be intentional about how you use these platforms. Consider setting time limits for your social media use or even taking regular breaks from it altogether. Instead of getting caught up in online debates or comparing your life to others, focus on what's real and meaningful in your own life. The Stoics also believed in avoiding unnecessary conflicts. This doesn't mean avoiding all disagreements. Sometimes standing up for what's right is important, but it does mean choosing your battles wisely. Ask yourself, is this argument worth my time and energy? Will it lead to a positive outcome, or is it just adding to the noise? By stepping back from petty disputes, you preserve your mental clarity and stay focused on what truly matters. Here's a practical tip. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on the interactions you had. Were there moments where you got pulled into drama unnecessarily? How could you handle similar situations differently in the future? This kind of reflection helps you become more aware of your habits and empowers you to make better choices moving forward. Limiting your exposure to drama isn't about shutting yourself off from the world. It's about creating space for calm and clarity. When you remove unnecessary distractions and conflicts, you free up mental energy to focus on your goals, relationships, and personal growth. And speaking of growth, our next tip will explore the power of reflection and how it can help you stay calm and centered. Stick around. This one's all about learning from your experiences and building resilience. Now, let's shift our focus to tip number 18, a powerful Stoic practice that can help you stay calm and centered reflecting on your day. The Stoics believed that taking time to review your actions and emotions each evening is essential for personal growth and maintaining inner peace. This practice isn't about dwelling on mistakes or beating yourself up. It's about learning, improving, and gaining clarity. Here's how it works. At the end of each day, find a quiet moment to sit down and reflect. Ask yourself two simple questions: what went well today, and what could I have done better? These questions help you celebrate your successes while also identifying areas for improvement. For example, maybe you handled a difficult conversation with patience and grace. Acknowledge that. Or perhaps you lost your temper in a moment of stress. Reflect on what triggered that reaction and how you might respond differently next time. Journaling is a great way to make this practice more concrete. Grab a notebook and write down your thoughts. You don't need to write pages and pages. Just a few sentences can be enough to help you process your day. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns in your behavior and emotions, which can give you valuable insights into how to stay calm under pressure. The Stoics also used this practice to remind themselves of their values and priorities. As you reflect, consider whether your actions aligned with what truly matters to you. Did you act with integrity? Did you stay focused on what's within your control? These questions help you stay grounded and true to your principles, even in challenging situations. Here's a simple journaling prompt to get you started. Today, I felt most at peace when, and I felt most stressed when. What can I learn from these moments? This prompt encourages you to explore both the highs and lows of your day, helping you build self-awareness and resilience. Reflecting on your day is like pressing the reset button for your mind. It allows you to let go of any lingering stress or negativity and approach the next day with a fresh perspective. By making this a regular habit, you'll not only stay calmer under pressure, but also grow into the best version of yourself. And speaking of growth, our next tip will dive into the importance of empathy and how understanding others can help you navigate life's challenges with grace. Stay tuned. This one's all about building stronger connections and staying calm in the face of conflict. Now, let's turn our attention to tip number 19, a practice that not only helps you stay calm but also strengthens your relationships. Practicing empathy. The Stoics understood that seeing the world through someone else's eyes is a powerful way to reduce conflict and stress. When you take the time to understand another person's perspective, you're less likely to react impulsively or with anger. Instead, you can approach situations with compassion and clarity, which helps you stay calm even in the face of tension. One of the most famous examples of Stoic empathy comes from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. During his reign, he faced countless challenges, from political unrest to military conflicts. Yet, he consistently chose to approach difficult situations with empathy. In one instance, a group of senators openly criticized him, accusing him of being too lenient with his enemies. Instead of responding with anger or defensiveness, Marcus Aurelius took a moment to consider their perspective. He realized that their criticism stemmed from fear and a desire to protect the empire. By understanding their concerns, he was able to address the situation calmly and effectively, avoiding unnecessary conflict. This story highlights a key Stoic principle. Empathy isn't about agreeing with everyone or letting others walk all over you. It's about recognizing that everyone has their own struggles, fears, and motivations. When you approach others with this mindset, you're better equipped to navigate disagreements and find common ground. So, how can you practice empathy in your own life? Start by actively listening when someone shares their thoughts or feelings. Instead of immediately jumping to conclusions or preparing your response, focus on truly understanding their point of view. Ask yourself, why might they feel this way, or what experiences have shaped their perspective? This simple shift in thinking can help you respond with patience and kindness, even in heated moments. Another way to cultivate empathy is to remind yourself that everyone is doing the best they can with the knowledge and resources they have. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, but it does mean approaching others with a sense of compassion rather than judgment. When you do this, you'll find that conflicts become less stressful and more manageable. By practicing empathy, you not only reduce your own stress but also create stronger, more meaningful connections with those around you. It's a reminder that staying calm under pressure isn't just about managing your own emotions, it's also about understanding and supporting others. And speaking of understanding, our next tip will explore how to avoid overthinking, a common habit that can drain your energy and amplify stress. Stay with us as we uncover practical strategies to clear your mind and stay focused on what truly matters. Now, let's shift our focus to tip number 20, a practice that can save you from the mental exhaustion of overthinking. The Stoics believed that clear, rational thinking is essential for staying calm under pressure. When you get caught in a cycle of endless analysis, you waste valuable energy and create unnecessary stress. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to focus on making thoughtful, deliberate decisions without getting bogged down by doubt or indecision. Overthinking often stems from fear of making the wrong choice, fear of failure, or fear of the unknown. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control every outcome, we can control how we approach our decisions. By focusing on what's within our power, our thoughts, actions, and intentions, we can break free from the paralysis of overthinking and move forward with confidence. One practical strategy to avoid overthinking is to set time limits for decision-making. For example, if you're faced with a choice that doesn't require immediate action, give yourself a specific window of time to weigh your options. Once that time is up, make a decision and commit to it. This approach helps you avoid getting stuck in an endless loop of what-ifs and instead encourages you to trust your judgment. Another helpful technique is to ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often, we overthink because we imagine catastrophic outcomes that are unlikely to occur. By realistically assessing the potential consequences, you can put things into perspective and reduce the anxiety that fuels overthinking. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of focusing on the present moment. When you find yourself overthinking, take a step back and ask, is this thought helping me right now? If the answer is no, let it go and redirect your attention to what you can do in the here and now. This simple shift can help you regain clarity and focus. By avoiding overthinking, you not only save mental energy but also create space for more meaningful actions and decisions. It's a reminder that staying calm under pressure isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself to handle whatever comes your way. And speaking of handling challenges, our next tip will explore the importance of staying humble, a quality that can keep you grounded and calm even in the face of success or criticism. Stay with us as we uncover how humility can be your secret weapon for navigating life's ups and downs. Now, let's turn our attention to tip number 21, a principle that might seem simple but holds profound power: staying humble. The Stoics believed that humility is not just a virtue but a practical tool for maintaining calm and clarity, especially when life throws success, praise, or criticism your way. Humility keeps you grounded, reminding you that no matter how high you rise or how low you fall, you're still human, imperfect, learning and growing. Arrogance, on the other hand, can be a source of unnecessary stress. When you start to believe you're invincible or above others, you set yourself up for disappointment. Life has a way of humbling us, and when it does, the fall can feel much harder if you've built your identity on a pedestal. The Stoics teach us that true strength lies in recognizing our limitations and embracing our humanity. Think about it this way: when you're humble, you're less likely to take criticism personally. Instead of seeing it as an attack, you can view it as an opportunity to learn and improve. This mindset shift not only reduces stress but also helps you grow. On the flip side, arrogance often leads to defensiveness, which can escalate conflicts and create tension in relationships. A great example of humility in action comes from the life of Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history. Despite being the emperor of Rome, he constantly reminded himself of his own mortality and imperfections. In his personal writings, he reflected on the importance of staying humble, even in the face of immense power and success. This practice helped him remain calm and focused, even during times of war and political turmoil. In our modern lives, humility can show up in small but meaningful ways. For instance, when you achieve a big win at work, instead of boasting, take a moment to acknowledge the team effort that made it possible. Or when you make a mistake, own up to it without making excuses. These actions not only foster better relationships but also keep your ego in check, reducing the stress that comes from trying to maintain a perfect image. Staying humble also means recognizing that you don't have all the answers. When you approach life with curiosity and openness, you're more likely to stay calm under pressure because you're not burdened by the need to always be right. Instead, you're free to adapt, learn, and grow. As we move forward, our next tip will explore the power of perspective, how focusing on the big picture can help you stay calm when small setbacks threaten to derail your peace of mind. Stay with us as we uncover how Stoics use perspective to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Now, let's shift our focus to tip number 22, where we explore how Stoics use perspective to stay calm under pressure. One of the most powerful tools in the Stoic toolkit is the ability to zoom out and see the bigger picture. When life throws small setbacks your way, it's easy to get caught up in the moment and feel overwhelmed. But the Stoics remind us that these challenges are just tiny blips in the grand scheme of things. Think of life as a long journey rather than a single step. When you're on a road trip, you don't panic over every pothole or detour. You know that these are just minor obstacles on the way to your destination. Similarly, in life, setbacks are inevitable, but they don't define your entire journey. By focusing on the big picture, you can keep moving forward without letting temporary frustrations derail your peace of mind. The Stoics believed that maintaining this perspective helps you stay grounded and resilient. For example, when you're dealing with a tough day at work, it's easy to feel like everything is falling apart. But if you step back and remind yourself that this is just one day out of thousands, it becomes easier to stay calm and keep things in perspective. This doesn't mean ignoring your problems. It means approaching them with a sense of proportion and clarity. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this idea in his writings. As emperor, he faced countless challenges, from political intrigue to military campaigns. Yet, he constantly reminded himself to view these struggles as part of a larger tapestry. By focusing on the bigger picture, he was able to navigate even the most difficult situations with a sense of calm and purpose. In our own lives, this principle can be incredibly freeing. When you're stuck in traffic, instead of letting frustration take over, remind yourself that this delay is just a small part of your day. When a project at work doesn't go as planned, consider how it fits into your long-term goals. By shifting your focus to the bigger picture, you can reduce stress and approach challenges with a clearer, more balanced mindset. This Stoic practice isn't about dismissing your problems, it's about seeing them in their proper context. When you do, you'll find that many of the things that once seemed overwhelming are actually manageable. And as we move forward, our next tip will delve into the importance of patience, how taking a moment to pause and breathe can help you stay calm even in the most intense situations. Stay with us as we uncover how Stoics use patience to navigate life's pressures with grace. Now, let's turn our attention to tip number 23, where we explore the Stoic art of practicing patience. In a world that often feels like it's moving at breakneck speed, patience can feel like a rare commodity. But for the Stoics, patience wasn't just a virtue, it was a powerful tool for maintaining calm under pressure. The Stoics understood that reacting impulsively to stress or frustration only amplifies the problem. Instead, they advocated for taking a moment to pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, it means giving yourself the space to process them before acting. For example, when you're in a heated argument, counting to 10 before responding can help you avoid saying something you might regret. It's a simple practice, but it can make a world of difference in how you handle tense situations. Another practical tip is to physically step away from the source of stress, even if just for a few minutes. Taking a short walk, for instance, can help you clear your mind and regain perspective. The Stoics believed that by creating this mental and physical distance, you give yourself the opportunity to approach the situation with clarity and calm. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often spoke about the importance of patience in his teachings. He reminded his students that many of the things that upset us are beyond our control, and reacting with impatience only adds to our suffering. Instead, he encouraged them to focus on what they could control, their own thoughts and actions. By practicing patience, you take back control of your emotions and prevent external pressures from dictating your state of mind. In modern life, this principle is just as relevant. Imagine you're stuck in a long line at the grocery store. Instead of letting frustration build, you can use that time to practice patience. Reflect on the fact that this delay is temporary and that getting upset won't make the line move any faster. By shifting your mindset, you transform what could have been a stressful moment into an opportunity for growth. Patience also plays a key role in achieving long-term goals. The Stoics believed that true progress often requires time and persistence. Whether you're working on a challenging project or navigating a difficult relationship, patience allows you to stay focused and resilient even when progress feels slow. As we move forward, our next tip will explore how avoiding comparisons with others can help you stay calm and focused on your own path. But for now, remember that patience is more than just waiting. It's about maintaining your composure and perspective, even when life tests your limits. By practicing this Stoic principle, you'll find that you can handle pressure with grace and resilience. Now, let's shift our focus to tip number 24, where we delve into the Stoic practice of avoiding comparisons with others. In a world that constantly bombards us with images of success, achievements, and seemingly perfect lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring ourselves against others. But the Stoics remind us that this habit only leads to unnecessary stress and dissatisfaction. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on our own journey rather than external benchmarks. When you compare yourself to others, you're essentially handing over control of your happiness to factors outside your influence. Think about it: someone else's success or failure has no bearing on your own progress. What truly matters is how you're growing, learning, and improving in your own life. Let's take a relatable example. Imagine you've been working hard at your job and then a colleague gets promoted. It's natural to feel a pang of disappointment or even frustration. But instead of letting those emotions take over, the Stoic approach would be to reflect on your own path. Ask yourself, what have I accomplished? What skills have I developed? How can I continue to grow? By shifting your focus inward, you reclaim your sense of purpose and avoid the stress that comes from comparing yourself to others. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often wrote about the futility of comparison in his personal journals. He reminded himself that everyone has their own unique journey, and that true contentment comes from focusing on your own virtues and efforts. This mindset not only helps you stay calm under pressure, but also fosters a sense of inner peace and self-acceptance. In modern life, This principle is especially relevant in the age of social media, where it's all too easy to fall into the comparison trap. Scrolling through curated highlights of other people's lives can leave you feeling inadequate or overwhelmed. But the Stoics would encourage you to step back and remember that what you see online is rarely the full picture. Instead of comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, focus on your own goals and values. By avoiding comparisons, you free yourself from the pressure to measure up to others and instead focus on what truly matters, your own growth and well-being. This doesn't mean ignoring the achievements of others or dismissing their success. It simply means recognizing that your journey is unique, and that's something to be celebrated. As we move forward, our next tip will explore how cultivating inner peace can help you stay calm, no matter what life throws your way. But for now, take a moment to reflect on your own progress. Remember, the only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. By embracing this Stoic mindset, you'll find that staying calm under pressure becomes not just a goal, but a way of life. Now, let's turn our attention to tip number 25, where we explore the Stoic practice of cultivating inner peace. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and challenges, finding a sense of calm within yourself can feel like an impossible task. But the Stoics believed that true tranquility comes from within, no matter what's happening around you. Inner peace, according to Stoicism, isn't about escaping the chaos of life, it's about learning to remain steady and composed even in the midst of it. Think of it like being the eye of a storm. While everything around you may be swirling, you can choose to stay centered and grounded. This doesn't mean ignoring your problems or pretending everything is fine. It means developing the ability to face life's ups and downs with a calm and balanced mind. One powerful way to cultivate this inner peace is through meditation. The Stoics didn't call it meditation in the way we do today, but they practiced something very similar. They would take time each day to sit quietly, reflect on their thoughts, and observe their emotions without judgment. This practice helps you detach from the chaos of the external world and reconnect with your inner self. Even just 5 minutes of mindful breathing or quiet reflection can make a significant difference in how you handle stress and pressure. Another practice the Stoics valued was spending time in nature. They believed that being in natural surroundings could help you gain perspective and reconnect with the simplicity of life. When you're surrounded by the beauty of the natural world, it's easier to let go of the small worries that often consume your mind. Whether it's a walk in the park, a hike in the mountains, or simply sitting by a lake, nature has a way of reminding you of what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of finding stillness within oneself. He would remind himself that external events are fleeting and that his peace of mind was his own responsibility. By focusing on what he could control, his thoughts, his reactions, and his choices, he was able to maintain a sense of calm even in the face of immense challenges. In modern life, cultivating inner peace might look like setting aside time each day to unplug from technology, journal your thoughts, or simply sit in silence. It's about creating small moments of stillness amidst the busyness of life. When you prioritize these practices, you'll find that you're better equipped to handle stress and stay calm under pressure. As we move forward, our next tip will dive into how learning from criticism can help you grow and stay composed. But for now, take a moment to consider how you can bring more inner peace into your life. Whether it's through meditation, time in nature, or simply pausing to breathe, remember that tranquility is always within your reach. By embracing this Stoic practice, you'll not only stay calm under pressure, but also discover a deeper sense of contentment and balance in your daily life. Now, let's shift our focus to tip number 26, where we explore how Stoics approach criticism. In a world where feedback can often feel harsh or personal, the Stoics offer a refreshing perspective. They saw criticism not as an attack, but as a chance to grow and improve. Imagine criticism as a mirror. It doesn't define you, but it can help you see areas where you might want to adjust or grow. The Stoics believed that how you respond to criticism says more about you than the criticism itself. Instead of reacting defensively or letting it shake your confidence, they encouraged taking a step back and asking yourself, is there truth in this? Can I learn something from it? This mindset shift allows you to turn what could feel like a negative experience into a valuable opportunity for self-improvement. One practical way to handle criticism calmly is to pause before responding. When you feel that initial sting of feedback, take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to process. This small pause can help you avoid reacting impulsively and instead respond thoughtfully. The Stoics would remind you that your reaction is within your control, even if the criticism isn't. Another Stoic practice is to separate the criticism from your sense of self-worth. Just because someone critiques your work or actions doesn't mean they're criticizing who you are as a person. By keeping this distinction clear, you can approach feedback with a more open and objective mindset. Think of it as evaluating the feedback itself, rather than letting it define your identity. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the idea that criticism can be a teacher. He would remind himself that even harsh words could contain valuable lessons if he was willing to listen. This doesn't mean accepting every piece of feedback as absolute truth, but rather being open to considering it and deciding what, if anything, to take from it. In modern life, learning from criticism might look like asking clarifying questions when you receive feedback. Instead of shutting down or arguing, try saying something like, "Can you tell me more about what you mean?" Or, "What would you suggest I do differently?" This approach not only helps you understand the feedback better, but also shows that you're willing to engage constructively. As we move forward, our next tip will explore the Stoic practice of detachment and how it can help you stay calm in the face of uncertainty. But for now, take a moment to reflect on how you handle criticism. Could you approach it with more curiosity and less defensiveness? By embracing this Stoic mindset, you'll not only grow from feedback but also maintain your inner calm, no matter what comes your way. Now, let's turn our attention to tip number 27, where we dive into the Stoic practice of detachment. This principle is all about freeing yourself from the weight of outcomes, which can often be a major source of anxiety. The Stoics believed that while you can control your actions and efforts, the results are often beyond your control. By detaching from the outcome, you can focus on what truly matters: your effort, your intentions, and your growth. Imagine you're playing a competitive sports game. It's easy to get caught up in the pressure of winning, especially when the stakes feel high. But what if, instead of fixating on the score, you focused entirely on giving your best effort? The Stoics would argue that this shift in mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also allows you to perform better. When you're not weighed down by the fear of losing or the desire to win, you can play with more clarity and presence. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about the outcome altogether. It simply means you stop letting it dictate your emotions. Think of it like this: you can pour your energy into preparing for a big presentation at work, but once you're in the room, the outcome, whether your boss loves it or not, is out of your hands. What's within your control is how well you've prepared and how confidently you deliver it. By focusing on these aspects, you can stay calm and composed no matter the result. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that external events are indifferent. They don't have the power to disturb his peace unless he allows them to. He would focus on his own actions and virtues, knowing that these were the only things truly within his control. This mindset can be incredibly liberating, especially in situations where the stakes feel overwhelming. In everyday life, practicing detachment might look like setting a goal but not obsessing over the outcome. For example, if you're working on a creative project, focus on the joy of creating rather than worrying about how it will be received. Or if you're applying for a job, put your energy into crafting a strong application and preparing for the interview, rather than fixating on whether you'll get the offer. As we move forward, our next tip will explore how to avoid overcommitting and maintain balance in your life. But for now, take a moment to reflect on where you might be holding onto outcomes too tightly. Could you shift your focus to the effort and let go of the rest? By embracing this Stoic practice of detachment, you'll find a deeper sense of calm and freedom, no matter what life throws your way. Now, let's shift our focus to tip number 28, where we explore the Stoic approach to avoiding overcommitment. In a world that often glorifies being busy, the Stoics remind us of the importance of balance and self-preservation. Overcommitting can lead to burnout, stress, and a sense of being overwhelmed, something the Stoics sought to avoid by living intentionally and within their means. The Stoics believed in focusing on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. This means being selective about where you invest your time and energy. Think of it like this: if you try to carry too many things at once, you'll eventually drop them all. But if you focus on holding just a few important things, you can carry them with ease and care. One practical way to apply this principle is by prioritizing your tasks. Start by identifying what's most important to you, whether it's your health, relationships, or career, and allocate your time accordingly. Not everything on your to-do list deserves equal attention. By setting clear priorities, you can avoid spreading yourself too thin and ensure that you're giving your best to what truly matters. Another key aspect is setting realistic goals. The Stoics understood that aiming too high or taking on too much can lead to frustration and disappointment. Instead, they advocated for setting achievable goals that align with your values and capabilities. For example, if you're working on a big project, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. This not only makes the task less daunting, but also allows you to celebrate small wins along the way, keeping you motivated and calm. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of moderation and self-awareness. He knew that overextending himself would only lead to exhaustion and a loss of focus. By staying mindful of his limits, he was able to maintain his composure and effectiveness, even in the face of immense responsibilities. In your own life, consider where you might be overcommitting. Are there tasks or obligations that drain your energy without adding value? Could you say no more often to protect your time and well-being? Remember, saying no to one thing often means saying yes to something more important: your peace of mind. As we move forward, our next tip will guide you through the practice of reflecting on your progress and celebrating your growth. But for now, take a moment to assess your commitments. Are they aligned with your priorities, or are they pulling you in too many directions? By embracing the Stoic value of balance, you can protect your energy, stay calm under pressure, and live a more intentional life. Now, let's turn our attention to tip number 29, where we delve into the Stoic practice of reflecting on your progress. The Stoics believed that self-reflection was a powerful tool for growth and self-awareness. By regularly assessing how you're handling pressure and staying calm, you can identify areas where you've improved and areas that still need work. This practice not only helps you stay grounded, but also reinforces your commitment to living a more intentional and balanced life. One effective way to incorporate this into your routine is through journaling. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write down your thoughts and experiences. Ask yourself questions like, how did I respond to challenges today? Or, did I stay calm in moments of pressure? Be honest with yourself, acknowledge both your successes and areas where you could have handled things differently. This isn't about being overly critical, it's about learning and growing. For example, if you found yourself getting frustrated during a meeting, reflect on what triggered that reaction and how you might approach a similar situation differently next time. On the other hand, if you manage to stay calm during a stressful moment, celebrate that progress. Over time, these small reflections will help you build a clearer picture of your growth and reinforce the habits that help you stay calm under pressure. Marcus Aurelius was a strong advocate of this practice. In his personal writings, he often reviewed his actions and emotions, using these reflections to guide his behavior and decisions. By regularly assessing his progress, he was able to stay aligned with his values and maintain his composure, even in the face of immense challenges. To get started, try this simple journaling exercise. Each evening, write down one moment where you felt calm under pressure and one moment where you struggled. Then jot down one thing you learned from each experience. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns and gain valuable insights into how you handle stress. As we prepare to explore our final tip, take a moment to consider how far you've come. Reflecting on your progress isn't just about looking back, it's about moving forward with greater clarity and confidence. By embracing this Stoic practice, you can continue to grow, stay calm under pressure, and live a more intentional life. Now, as we reach the final tip, let's explore a timeless Stoic principle that can bring immense comfort during challenging times: the idea that everything is temporary. Tip number 30 reminds us to remember that this too shall pass. The Stoics believed deeply in the impermanence of all things, both the good and the bad. By embracing this truth, we can find peace in knowing that no matter how overwhelming a situation feels, it won't last forever. Think about it. Have you ever had a tough week where everything seemed to go wrong? Maybe deadlines were piling up or unexpected problems kept arising. In those moments, it's easy to feel like the stress will never end. But the Stoics would encourage you to take a step back and remind yourself that this is just a moment in time. Like a storm, it will eventually pass and brighter days will return. This mindset isn't about dismissing your struggles or pretending they don't matter. It's about shifting your perspective to see challenges as temporary rather than permanent. When you internalize the idea that nothing lasts forever, you can approach difficult situations with a sense of calm and resilience. For example, imagine you're stuck in a long, frustrating traffic jam. Instead of letting your frustration build, you could remind yourself that this delay is only temporary. In an hour, you'll be out of the car and moving on with your day. By focusing on the impermanence of the situation, you can avoid letting it ruin your mood or drain your energy. The Stoics often use this principle to stay grounded during both personal and external challenges. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, frequently reflected on the fleeting nature of life and its difficulties. He wrote about how even the most intense emotions or hardships are like waves. They rise, crash, and then recede. By keeping this in mind, he was able to maintain his composure and focus on what truly mattered. So, how can you apply this in your own life? Start by noticing when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that this moment, no matter how difficult, is temporary. Write it down if it helps. This too shall pass. Over time, this simple practice can help you stay calm under pressure and approach challenges with a clearer, more balanced mindset. As we wrap up our journey through these 30 Stoic tips, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Each of these practices offers a way to build resilience, stay calm, and live with greater intention. Whether it's focusing on what you can control, practicing gratitude, or remembering that tough times are temporary, these timeless principles can guide you through life's ups and downs. Now it's your turn to take action. Start small, pick one tip that resonates with you and commit to practicing it daily. Over time, you'll find that these Stoic tools become second nature, helping you stay calm under pressure and live a more fulfilling life. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Stoic wisdom. Let's continue this journey together, one step at a time. And there you have it, 30 powerful Stoic tips to help you stay calm under pressure. From focusing on what you can control to embracing the impermanence of life, each of these practices offers a unique way to build resilience and maintain peace in the face of challenges. Together, they form a toolkit for navigating life's ups and downs with grace and intention. The beauty of these tips lies in their simplicity and practicality. You don't need to master them all at once. Start small, choose one tip that resonates with you and commit to practicing it daily. Over time, you'll notice how these principles begin to shape your mindset, helping you stay calm and focused even in the most stressful situations. Remember, Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about developing the inner strength to face life's challenges head-on with clarity and purpose. Whether it's reframing obstacles as opportunities, practicing gratitude, or reminding yourself that tough times are temporary, these timeless principles can guide you toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Stoic wisdom. Let's continue this journey together, one step at a time. And in the comments below, share your favorite tip or how you've applied Stoicism in your own life. Your insights might just inspire someone else to start their own Stoic journey. Thanks for watching, and remember, no matter what life throws your way, you have the tools to stay calm and carry on.